20 years, over 2,000 different models were released. Discs were still being made 3 decades later, and even now there's a community who won't let go. At the centre of this strange story is one small machine, beautiful, impossibly fragile, and now worth far more than it ever was new. I've wanted one for a long time, and the only way I can afford it is to roll the dice on a broken one, sold as junk. Let's see if it has any life left in it. I see there are screws missing. This is not a good initial sign. So first I want to have a look inside and check the internals before powering this up. I'm going to be careful and get a feel for this and figure out how to take this apart. Okay, the bottom casing is coming off and the main board is looking great. This model is from 2006. Lots of BGA chips inside. It's all very mid-2000s looking. But importantly, there's no evidence of any liquid damage. Okay, let's take the top off now and see what the mechanism looks like. And, it looks like something may be dislodged inside the tray area. That could be a problem, but I think we're at least good at trying to power this up. And there we go, so far so good. The display is working, though it's sort of dim. This is an early first-generation OLED display, and from what I've seen online, these OLEDs are known to completely fail in this model. So seeing this with a working display makes me happy, and I can see the laser is trying its best to focus on a disc. At this point, I'm going to put the bottom casing back on to protect the electronics, as I have a closer look at that mechanism. Okay, I've carefully lifted out the section that seems broken to have a closer look. The internal structure feels so flimsy and fragile. I'm actually kind of shocked that Sony would make something that feels this weak. Unfortunately, it's not looking good. This is the arm that holds the magnetic right head. It's kind of an important part for a MiniDisc recorder. The springy metal on which the head sits is badly bent and warped, and the head itself, well, that's severely damaged. I can see it's been torn completely apart. Yeah, this is a disaster. I can't fix this. It's over. I recorded that initial repair attempt back in 2024, and when I couldn't fix it, I just shelved everything. But I just couldn't give up on my dream of one day owning a working RH1. So I've been searching for a long time, and finally I came across another affordable RH1, again listed as junk, but going very cheap, and I decided to take another risk with achieving this goal. At first glance, this one seems slightly more used and worn than the previous one. Looking inside the disc tray area, and it seems more intact this time, which is a huge relief. But before powering this up, I want to take the bottom casing off to check for any possible liquid damage before applying power. And it looks like this has perhaps been exposed to very slight amounts of humidity, but it's clean enough and nothing to worry about. So it's time to power this up. Okay, I'm really pleased to see that it's turning on. It looks like it might be a fair amount dimmer than the first one. I think it's time to try a disc. And, well, look at that. It seems to be playing okay. Plugging in some headphones, and I can hear audio coming out. Yes, finally some luck. It seems I might have a working RH1. Doing a quick compare of this display to the first one, and you can easily see how much dimmer the display is on this unit. It also looks like it's only showing half the display. There are actually 2 OLEDs side by side in each unit, and one must have already completely failed. Okay, so my plan then is to swap these displays over, giving the working unit a fully functional, even if slightly dimmed display. I'm having to be really careful as I learn to work on this. Like the first time, I'm again feeling just how fragile this device is. It's kind of unnerving working on this. The mechanical sections of the disc tray makes this feel like this is made out of tin foil. Some of the plastic on the display section screw tabs is cracking and falling apart. but being careful, and it all seems to be going back together well enough. Having a working RH1 has been a dream of mine for a long time, so fingers crossed, because now it's time for a big test. It's time to find out if this unit has a working record mechanism, and I can actually start making my own MiniDisc recordings with this. For the recording test, I have several input options. I could use the microphone input to record ambient audio, or there is a line input which I can directly record from an analog source. But I've decided for my very first recording test, I want to do something special. I want to use the OPT option on the line input jack. OPT is short for optical. The RH1, like most MiniDisc recorders, has the option to take a beam of light and record music from it. To create the source beam, I have this modern USB sound adapter, which I'm plugging into my Xperia tablet. This interface is based on the Sony Philips digital interface format that was developed alongside the CD audio standard in the early 1980s. It was originally developed as an electrical connection, but in 1983 Toshiba expanded this interface to use light transmission over a fibre optic cable, which they called Toslink, short for Toshiba Link. When I play music on this tablet, I get a beam of digital light, which I just need to feed into the line input socket. This is a very old method of transferring digital music, but I love the retro-futuristic vibes it gives off. This feel goes really well with the RH1 and its amazing OLED display and the retro-futuristic feel it has when using it. Wow, my first MiniDisc recording experience was awesome. Of course, the RH1 is a 2000s era MiniDisc device. In the 2000s, MiniDisc devices also came with a USB port, which can be used to upload music tracks directly from a computer. To do this, you need to run the excellent Sonic Stage software from Sony. It's excellent if you happen to be a music executive in the recording industry, and you want all this new technology to continue to work as if we were still living in the 1970s. The result was this made the end-user experience of using this software quite appalling, with all sorts of deliberately unfriendly restrictions, such as when transferring music from your computer to a MiniDisc, Sonic Stage then disables the ability to play those tracks on your computer, at least until the tracks are taken off that MiniDisc. Fortunately, we now live in the future. We no longer need to use software like Sonic Stage. There's an awesome community around MiniDisc these days, such as the MiniDisc Subreddit and the MiniDisc Wiki and the associated MiniDisc Discord server. There is active development going on today that is making the whole MiniDisc experience better than it ever was. Passion and enthusiasm in this community is palpable. For example, uploading music via USB can now be done using modern tools such as Web MiniDisc Pro. This is community-developed software with no DRM and as few restrictions as possible. It includes new features for some models, such as the ability to back up music from MiniDiscs onto your computer. There is also hardware development going on, with a modern drop-in screen replacement for failing OLED RH1 displays, many of which are becoming unusable over time. I must say, this community is awesome. I have so much I want to explore with all this, but we're getting a little bit out of scope for this initial RH1 repair and appreciation video, so be sure to stay tuned for future MiniDisc videos on this channel. I have one more thing that I want to try now that I have a working RH1. This comes from seeing The Matrix and that moment Neo opens his secret stash of MiniDiscs. Then he says,
"You get caught using that."
That's not a podcast he's talking about there. He's obviously using MiniDisc for more than just audio. When seeing that at the time, I wondered about this possibility for a long time. And then imagine my surprise when I come across the awesome CellGen Studios channel showing off the Sony portable MD data drive.
But again, you're using the Macintosh to control it. But other than that, there you have it. That's MD data for you.
So wait, what Neo was doing was actually possible at the time? This alternative format had come out in the early 1990s, and yet I had no idea it had even existed. It's basically the exact same technology as audio MiniDiscs, but with some very minor changes to make them incompatible with each other, obviously again to satisfy those brain-dead music executives. The following year from that initial video, LGR also made a video on this rare format.
It's just satisfying.
And these remain the only two videos on YouTube that I've seen that demonstrates this early MiniDisc storage system. I can only imagine what would have happened with MiniDisc if Sony had combined this sort of capability with MiniDisc audio in the 1990s. Would this have made MiniDisc even more popular? Eventually, towards the latter stages of the MiniDisc format's life in the mid-2000s, Sony did finally add this capability with the new HighMD format, of which the RH1 is more than capable of. To try this out, I just need to plug my RH1 into a computer's USB port, and there it is. And I can simply copy any arbitrary files directly to a HighMD formatted disk. And for my own personal satisfaction, I'm now going to plug my RH1 into my Xperia tablet, which is again detected as an external drive under Android. With that, I can now directly play the video files that I'd copied onto this MiniDisc, with the RH1 working simply as an external drive. It's not as cool as what Neo was doing, but I get a huge amount of pleasure seeing this just working, hearing the whoosh and clicks of the MiniDisc as it spins around.
Make the perfect recording for your perfect place. Sony MiniDisc.
This is the newest MiniDisc recorder. This is very good for recording.
The Sony MZ RH1 is a beautiful machine. Many people have described it, perhaps controversially, as Sony's swan song to the MiniDisc format, because it sits right at that intersection of extremely valuable and extremely fragile. I admit that such an ethereal and expensive device is not for everyone, but it has such a real delicate beauty to it that simply can't be ignored. In modern times, the RH1 has become a cult object, a cyberpunk adjacent device with a stunning retro-futuristic feel, and I love it. I have much more to learn and explore with MiniDisc, including some more MiniDisc recorders that need to be checked and possibly repaired in the future. I also need to spend time in the MiniDisc community spaces, finding out some of the more in-depth technical aspects of this format. So I hope to be making more videos about MiniDisc in the future. Until then, I have many other topics coming out soon, and there are other videos on this channel for you to enjoy. If you see something you like, be sure to let me know in the comments, or maybe catch me in some of the other spaces I'm sometimes in. But that's it for the moment, and I'll see you next time.